This is Kevin Polky, and welcome to The Journey. The Journey is a show that I started a few years ago, and we primarily focused on stories of resiliency, transformation, watching individuals be able to overcome and navigate through different setbacks or obstacles that they may have had throughout their life. And then we also do reflections. And today is going to be, we're going to focus on a reflection of, and this started a couple months ago when I had the honor of marrying two different individuals. The young lady I have known since she was a child. My wife Diane's best friend Christy daughter got married, and they asked me to be the officiant of that wedding. And as I was bringing them through their pre-marriage counseling sessions, I stressed to them that as important as the ceremony is, and as memorable as the ceremony is, preparing for a successful marriage is much more my priority than preparing for a successful day. And one of the topics that we talked about during that time period, and then I even reflected on during my message at the day of the wedding, was this idea of, do we actually fall in love, or do we actually find ourselves in love? So this idea of falling in love is an interesting phrase. It's almost as if it's something that happens by accident, or happens without us knowing, like stepping off the curb, or stepping in something in the backyard that hadn't been picked up, that your dog may have left you. So I think, though, as on I reflect on my own marriage and my relationship with Diane, I think it was much more that I awoke to or realized I was in love after it had already been happening. Meaning that it may have been weeks or months into this growing relationship of getting to know her more and more, and spending more time and learning how she interacted regarding certain types of scenarios that we were in, and was coming to believe that this is a person that I could have as a lifelong partner. It's been 30 and a half years now that Diane and I have been together. We knew each other for about 4 years prior to us dating. And it was somewhere in that first 6 months or so of us dating and really getting to know each other more, that I reflected on that this was what others had described as love, something that I had not experienced. Now, granted, I had a lot of relationships in which I dated different individuals, but seemed never to date anyone for an extended period of time to really allow that that love to develop and grow. So this idea that we discover that we are in love, which again I think is different than when we say that we love something. Like, you'll hear people say that they love tacos, or they love a certain organization or a certain sports, or something like that. And I think that is different than this connection that happens when you find yourself loving someone and being in love with someone. equally different than loving a parent or a sibling or even a child for that matter. On a similar type of note, I came across a quote, and many of you probably have heard this quote before, and it's by Thurman. Howard Thurman. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go and do that. Because what the world needs is people who come alive. Let me read that again. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go and do that. Because what the world needs are people who have come alive. So I think similar, how do you discover, come to realize what is it that makes you come alive? I don't think this happens by sitting in a meditative position and just waiting for something to happen. I think it takes action. And I think it takes action from an aspect of trying different things and getting involved. I don't think that I realized that I was designed and enjoyed teaching and speaking, counseling, um, coaching. I don't think I knew before I did those things that that is what I was naturally had gifts for. I think it was only after doing that and doing it over time and practicing it and learning different techniques and then noticing how those things began to flow, that I then discovered that what I should do is counsel, work with people on a bigger scale, be teaching in teaching workshops and other aspects of trainings. But I don't think I knew that until after I was doing it. There was a lot of different jobs that I had tried throughout my life that I discovered what I didn't want to do. And then in other aspects of even as a counselor, what types of counseling and what uh, uh, environments where I didn't want to be and gravitate toward the environments that I did want to counsel. So I think when we think of what Howard Thurman talked about in his quote, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Though I do think that is a good place to start by where can I get involved? Where can I be of service? While you're doing that, being very aware and cognizant of what actually gives me energy. And I notice that I can do it for sustained periods of time because it takes very little energy from me. That is what I think he's referring to about coming alive. And I do think he's correct with this idea that the world needs people who are doing what makes them come alive. But I think it's by first discovering what takes energy from you so that you can then navigate through and find what gives you energy. As you continue to engage in your own household, um, within your neighborhood, within your community, within your place of work or your place of worship, being able to be curious, to explore, to get involved, and keeping tabs on what and when you're doing those things, what things actually you receive energy, even though you're maybe helping someone else or doing something for someone else. I think this road this journey of discovery about what makes us come alive can be as exciting as what makes us feel loved and fulfilled. As we are fulfilled, we love others and assist in helping others. As always, I appreciate you being here, and always welcome any kind of feedback that you would be willing to share with me, or sharing this particular episode with anybody that may need to hear it as well. As always, thank you, and look forward to being with you next week.